Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today, we're going to talk about Bitcoin, whale games. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and check out the sale on the premium list at intothecryptoverse.com. Let's go ahead and jump in. So, occasionally, we like to check in on what some of our favorite whales are doing in the cryptoverse. What do they think's coming? What do they think's not coming? And in order to do that, we just simply have to go look at what are some of the larger wallets doing. Are they transferring Bitcoin in? Are they transferring Bitcoin out? Now, one caveat of on-chain analysis is that just because a transfer takes place does not necessarily mean it's a buy or a sell. It could just be a transaction or a transfer to a different wallet. It doesn't necessarily mean anything. With that disclaimer said, let's go ahead and jump in. So, one of the things I've mentioned before is we all sit around probably when we wake up in the morning wondering what whale number three would do. And the reason why whale number three is somewhat significant is because we don't know who it is. There's obviously a lot of speculation as to who it is, and I've seen all sorts of people speculating on who it is. But really, I don't think anyone fully knows. And if it does become to light, that would be somewhat interesting. Right now, we know that the first two wallets, 1 and 2, belong to Binance and Bitfinex respectively. So there's really no use in looking too much to see what's going on there, because of course they're going to have some Bitcoin stored away. But you come down to whale number 3, and you kind of see a story, right? Or there's a story to be told. And the reason why we're making an update is because they just offloaded another 1,500 Bitcoin. Now, the reason why we like to talk about this is because, well, the market's kind of boring right now. So what else are we going to talk about other than speculate on what the whales are doing? One of the interesting things is that this whale number 3 recently sold, or at least transferred out, 1,500 Bitcoin at a price of approximately $41,000. Now, the reason I find it interesting is because you go back to say what happened the last time they transferred out 1,500 Bitcoin. And coincidentally, it happened to be at right below $44,000 on March the 1st. Okay, so March the 1st. So they literally got the local top, right? I mean, really, they literally got the local top. So I come back over to whale number 3, and I say, well, they got the last local top. They just offloaded another 1,500 Bitcoin, albeit though, since they offloaded this at 43.9K, almost 44K, they did accumulate back about half of that below 40K. And then now again, they've offloaded another 1,500 Bitcoin. Now, 1,500 Bitcoin is a lot of Bitcoin, right? It sounds like a lot of Bitcoin because it is a lot of Bitcoin. But for our mysterious whale number 3, it represents just over 1% of their stack. You can see the whale number 3 currently holds a very modest 124,928 Bitcoin, which is worth approximately $5.1 billion. So despite the fact that they just offloaded potentially 1,500 Bitcoin, they still have over 124,000 Bitcoin worth over $5 billion. So they definitely still have a significant amount of Bitcoin at the current time. What's more interesting as well is to kind of go back and look at the history of this mysterious whale number 3. And one of the things is you can also see that they offloaded 1,500 Bitcoin at 67.5K, which is pretty close, right, to the top. I mean, the interesting thing though is they immediately got back 198 Bitcoin, and then they transferred in another 1,100 Bitcoin at 64.1K, and then continued to sort of layer in as the prices dropped. But in recent times, during this very choppy market that we've been in, you can see that the last time they took out 1,500 Bitcoin, it was at almost 44K. They just offloaded another 1,500. The reason why I'm making this video is because it seems like there's a lot of interest in what are the whales doing. How do they currently see the market? Do they, are they optimistic? Are they pessimistic? One of the things I will remind you about is that no one knows what's going to happen. And if you look at a lot of these whales, even whale number three, you'll find plenty of times where they transferred out even in an uptrend. Even I do it, right? I mean, I've sold when Bitcoin's in an uptrend before, and then it keeps going up beyond what you thought it was going to do. But like, for instance, if you go back far enough, you'll see, transfers out 1,500 Bitcoin here back in late July at 37K, and then another 15 here at 39K, and then 1,500 Bitcoin here at 42, and then 1,500 at 42 again, and then 1,500 at 48. And then maybe they say, oh, wait, what's going on? Because, I mean, they did another 1,500 here at 49, and then they started adding back at 46, 46, 47K, and then all the way up, and then you can see they took out some more at 50K. So it's not like they always necessarily time it. I mean, you can see that they were adding down here, some of these lower prices like 31, 32K, and then they offloaded a decent amount at 37, 39K, but it didn't stop Bitcoin from going up into the, into the 40s and the 50s, and eventually eventually the $60,000 region. But it is interesting to keep an eye on some of the larger wallets. We can also go back and maybe keep tabs on some of the other ones. If we just sort of go look around and look at some of the recent ones, here's one. This one has sort of been slowly moving up. I mean, they have buys and sells, it appears. Most recently, you can see they've been slowly adding over the last few days after they took some out, I guess, on the 15th and the 16th. But again, it's just a humble reminder that, if you think you know how to time the market, there's certainly people with much larger stacks, I think, than us that also clearly don't know exactly what's going to happen in this market. And I certainly have no idea about these short-term price movements myself. Another interesting thing that we've discussed before is how there are a lot of wallets. And I'm keeping a close eye on these wallets because they've marked bottoms before. They have. Okay, if you look at when they're first in to the market was, like when did they first get into the market, a lot of these wallets, you can see their first in was back in December of 2018. Again, if you're unfamiliar with Bitcoin's price history back in December of 2018, that marked the bottom, right? I mean, this whoever this entity is, did pretty well, right? I mean, a lot of Bitcoin transferred in at the bottom. What's more interesting beyond that, as we've previously discussed, is not just the fact that they hit the bottom, but that they added to their stack. Here's an example, right? We'll go click on one of them. The last time they added to their stack, so you can see down here, they added around several thousand. I mean, this is like, 7,800, about 8,000 Bitcoin back in December of 2018. They didn't do anything until July of 2021 at around 31K. So not only do you see these wallets, and by the way, this could be the same person just sort of spreading their Bitcoin around many wallets, because you can see the balance in a lot of these wallets is the exact same, like 9661, 9661. I don't know what's so fascinating about 9661, but a lot of these wallets do in fact have 9,661 Bitcoin in them, and they first got Bitcoin at the end of 2018, and then the time after that they got Bitcoin, a lot of them was when? In July of 2021 at around 31K, which again, I mean, it's not the exact bottom, but I mean, it's close enough, right? I mean, it's right here at 31K. So, I mean, I think it's interesting to keep tabs on these, because like if one day the market seems relatively uneventful, or if you do see some type of sell-off and then you see these wallets come in with another huge buy or something, maybe that's something to take note of. I'm not saying, I'm just sort of, I'm not implying that it necessarily would, but it's just one of those things that I think it's worth following. Looks like one of the wallets here had a recent in on February 16th. I'm not sure if that was like a small amount or, let's go to, yeah, it was just some really fractional amount. So that doesn't really matter. But interesting to follow the whales, see what the whales are doing. And as many of you are probably thinking the same things as I do when I wake up in the morning, what would whale number 3 do? If If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up. Also, check out the premium list at intothecryptoverse.com. You can lock in the lower rate with the sale as long as you do not cancel. You'll get access to weekly reports and videos. We have a website with a lot of charts. We've been working on it really hard, so make sure you check it out. I will see you guys next time. Bye.